A man didn't just break my mom's heart, he shattered it. And then I found out he was secretly using my Netflix account. So I came up with a plan to expose him in the most humiliating way I could think of at a party in front of everyone. This is the story of how I used a Netflix Kids profile to get the most satisfying petty revenge imaginable. It is a story about betrayal, sure, but it's also about how the smallest, pettiest action can bring a family back together and give them the last laugh, the kind of laugh you feel deep in your soul, the kind that actually heals. Before we get into this wild ride, if you're a fan of satisfying revenge and karmic justice, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss what comes next. To really get why this was so sweet, you need to understand where our family was at. Back in 2014, our whole world just fell apart. We lost my dad. He was the center of our universe, the glue holding everything together. And losing him left a crater in our lives that felt impossible to fill. My mom was especially lost. They'd been together since they were teenagers, and I had to watch her try to navigate a world of grief I couldn't even begin to imagine. For about a year, our house was just quiet. The vibrant energy that used to fill every room was gone, replaced by this heavy silence. My mom was just going through the motions, and my heart broke for her every single day. And then, slowly, a little bit of light started to creep back in. And that light, at the time, seemed to be coming from a man we'll just call Mark. Now, Mark wasn't some new guy, he was practically family. He and my dad had been best friends for over 35 years. He was part of this huge, tight-knit group of friends, about 15 to 20 people who had all grown up together, gotten married around the same time, and raised their kids together. They weren't just friends. They were our chosen family. Mark had been at every birthday, every holiday, every family barbecue for as long as I could remember. He'd held me when I was a baby. He was a constant in our lives. So when he and my mom started spending more time together, about a year after my dad passed, it didn't feel weird. It actually felt right. He understood our grief because he was grieving my dad too. He could talk about him, share stories, and laugh at old memories in a way nobody else could. He brought a sense of normalcy back into our house. He made my mom smile again, a real, genuine smile that actually reached her eyes. He'd come over for dinner, help with stuff around the house, and just sit with her on the couch watching movies. It was gentle, it was comfortable, and for the first time in a long, long time, my mom looked happy. Even my dad's family, his sister, my aunt, my cousins, they were all relieved. They loved my mom fiercely, and seeing her find companionship with someone they had known and trusted for decades felt like a blessing. They embraced Mark, not as a replacement for my dad, but as a new chapter for my mom. The entire friend group was thrilled. It felt like our story was finally getting a happy turn, like we were all starting to heal together. Mark wasn't just dating my mom. He was helping to mend this fractured piece of our family. He was the safe choice, the one person on earth we thought would never, ever hurt her. Of course, we were devastatingly wrong. Their relationship went on for a little over a year, and things were solid. They were talking about the future, about really blending their lives. My mom was living with him, and it honestly felt like she had found her footing again. That deep, painful wound from my dad's passing was finally starting to heal over, and she was looking forward to life again. Then one random afternoon, it all came crashing down. There was no fight, no warning, no conversation. My mom called me, and I could barely understand her through the sobbing. Mark had just come home, looked at her, and said, "You need to pack your things and leave my house." Just like that. No explanation. When she, completely blindsided, asked him what was wrong, what had happened, he just repeated it. even colder this time. Get your stuff. I want you out. The cruelty of it was just breathtaking. This wasn't a stranger. This was a man who had known her for most of her life. A man who had sat at our dinner table 1,000 times. And he threw her out of his house like she was nothing. She came to stay with me, and I spent the next few weeks trying to help her piece her shattered heart back together, all while this helpless, furious anger was brewing inside me. We had no idea what happened. We racked our brains trying to figure out what could have possibly triggered such a brutal, sudden end. The truth, when it finally trickled out through the friend group grapevine, was 1,000 times worse than anything we could have imagined. Mark hadn't just woken up one day and decided to be alone. He was having an affair with a coworker. The reason he kicked my mom out with such callous disregard was that he decided to get serious with the other woman and needed my mom gone. Immediately. The news sent a shockwave through their entire circle of friends. The man everyone had trusted, the lifelong friend, had betrayed not only my mom but the memory of my dad. He had used our family's most vulnerable period to his advantage, only to discard my mother like trash the second someone new caught his eye. The fallout was immediate. Out of their core group of nearly 20 friends, only 2 or 3 people sided with him, making pathetic excuses for his behavior. But the rest of them, the overwhelming majority, were disgusted. They saw it for what it was, a selfish, cowardly, profound betrayal. The most powerful support, though, came from my dad's side of the family. My aunt, my father's own sister, and my cousins were unequivocal. They cut him off completely. They told him he was no longer welcome at any family events. They chose my mom without a single hesitation. Their loyalty was a lifeline for my mom in that sea of pain. It proved that the family my dad had built was stronger than any one person's treachery. But the wound was deep, and the man who caused it just went on with his life, apparently without a single consequence. Months went by. Life, as it does, started to move on. My mom was slowly, painstakingly rebuilding her world. She got her own place, leaned on the friends and family who stood by her, and started to find her smile again, even if it was a little more fragile this time. That anger was still there for me, just simmering under the surface. This constant resentment that this guy had gotten away with causing so much pain. We rarely said his name. He was a ghost, a bad memory we were all trying to forget. Then one night, I was doing what millions of us do, mindlessly scrolling through Netflix, trying to find something to watch. It is my account, my small monthly indulgence. I have profiles for me, my mom, and a guest profile. But that night, I saw a fourth profile. Just a name. Mark. I just stared at it, confused. Mark? My brain took a second to connect the dots. It couldn't be. We hadn't spoken to him in almost a year. How was that even possible? And then it hit me. Back when he and my mom were together, she lived at his house and would use her profile on his smart TV. He must have seen her enter the password, memorized it, and decided that, on top of everything else he'd taken from our family, he was also entitled to my paid streaming service. I clicked on his profile, and a fresh wave of fury just washed over me. His continue watching list was full. Ozark, The Crown, Mindhunter. He had been using my account for over a year, before the breakup, during the breakup, and for all the months since. He had callously thrown my mother out of his life, but had quietly kept his digital feet up on my proverbial coffee table this whole time. The entitlement was just staggering. It wasn't about the money, it was the principle. The sheer, unmitigated audacity. The disrespect. This man, who had shattered my mama's heart and betrayed decades of friendship, felt so entitled that he was still leeching off of me, my dad's daughter, without a second thought. He didn't even bother to change the profile name. He just slapped his own name on there like he belonged. My first instinct was just to change the password. Kick him off, be done with it. Simple, effective, end of story. I literally reached for my keyboard, my fingers hovering over the account button. But then I stopped. An idea, a beautiful, petty, and perfectly fitting idea, started to bloom in my mind. Just kicking him off was too easy. It was a quiet, private solution to a very public and painful wound. He'd get a password incorrect error, be annoyed for maybe 5 minutes, and then just go sign up for his own account. There'd be no message, no accountability, no justice. And that is when I knew I had to do something more. This wasn't just about Netflix anymore. This was about reclaiming a tiny piece of our dignity. It was about getting the last laugh that he had so brazenly stolen from us. I went into his profile settings. First, I clicked on the name. My fingers flew across the keyboard as I deleted Mark. In its place, I typed a simple, direct message. By your own Aina. That middle finger emoji just felt right. It was the perfect silent articulation of all my rage. But I wasn't done. Oh no, the name was just the beginning. The real genius of the plan was step 2. I scrolled down to maturity settings. With a few very satisfying clicks, I switched his profile to kids mode, max parental controls, no violence, no adult themes, no complex plots. His curated list of gritty crime dramas and historical epics would be gone. In its place would be the cheerful, primary colored world of kids' TV. I just pictured him settling down for the night, ready to watch the next episode of some dark, brooding anti-hero drama, only to be greeted by Cocomelon or Peppa Pig. I saved the changes and sat back, a slow, wicked grin spreading across my face. His profile picture was now a happy little cartoon dinosaur, sitting proudly next to the name, By Your Own. It was perfect, proportional, hilarious, and utterly humiliating. The punishment fit the crime with a poetic elegance that filled me with a giddy sense of triumph. Now all I had to do was wait for the right moment. And I had a feeling I wouldn't have to wait long. The universe, it seems, has a real flair for the dramatic. The very same day I digitally neutered Mark's Netflix experience, my aunt, my dad's sister, was hosting her annual birthday party. It was a big family affair, a real gathering of the clan, a celebration of life and sticking together. The guest list was basically a testament to who had stood with us. My mom was there, of course, all my cousins, and the solid 15 or so friends from the old group who had chosen loyalty over siding with a cheater. The house was filled with warmth, laughter, and the comfortable buzz of people who just genuinely loved each other. And then he showed up, Mark. And he wasn't alone. He had the new girlfriend, the coworker he torpedoed my mom's life for, on his arm. The audacity was, and I say this with zero exaggeration, Olympic level, to walk into a party hosted by the sister of the man whose memory he had desecrated, into a room full of people he had betrayed, with his affair partner in tow. It was a breathtaking display of shamelessness. He acted like he had every right to be there, smiling and trying to make small talk as if he hadn't just ripped a 35-year friendship to shreds. The air in the room got thick with tension. Smiles got strained. The laughter died down to a low murmur. I wasn't at the party myself, but my mom was texting me updates. When she told me he was there, my blood ran cold, then hot. This was it. This was the moment. The universe hadn't just provided an opportunity. It had gift-wrapped it and put it on a silver platter. I called her immediately. "Mom, you are not going to believe this," I started, my voice buzzing. "You know how I pay for the Netflix account?" "Yes, honey, what about it?" she asked, her voice low. I could hear the party in the background. "Well," I said, trying to hold back my own laughter, I was on there today, and guess who's been using it for the past year? There was a pause. No, she whispered. Yes, a profile with his name on it. He's been watching shows on my dime this whole time. Her first reaction was exactly what I expected, a flare of anger. That son of a... She started, her voice laced with fresh indignation. I know, Mom, I know. I cut her off. But wait, don't be mad, just do me a favor. Open the Netflix app on your phone, right now. I heard her fumbling with her phone. Okay, I'm opening it. Oh my God. Her anger just dissolved. It was replaced by a snort, then another, and then a sound I hadn't heard in what felt like forever. Loud, unstoppable, gut-busting laughter. It wasn't just a chuckle. It was a full-throated, joyous roar of pure, unadulterated glee. You didn't! She shrieked, gasping for air between laughs. Oh, I did, I replied, grinning from ear to ear. I figured if he's going to act like a child, his viewing option should reflect that. My mom, still laughing so hard she was crying, turned to my aunt. You have to see this, she managed to get out. She showed her the phone. My aunt looked at the screen, her eyes widened, and a second later she was howling with laughter too. Then my mom showed my cousins. They started laughing. She walked across the room and showed my dad's old friends, the ones who have been like uncles to me my whole life. One by one, the entire party, the core of our family and loyal friends, was in on the joke. The tense, awkward vibe that had blanketed the room when Mark arrived completely vanished, replaced by a wave of shared, cathartic laughter. It was more than just funny. It was a collective release. It was the sound of a wound finally starting to close. And Mark? He and his girlfriend were standing right there, in the middle of it all. They just watched as an entire room of people pointed at a phone screen and erupted into hysterics. They didn't know what was on the screen, but they knew, with a dawning, sickening certainty, that they were the punchline. He couldn't say a word. What could he say? Why are you all laughing? Would only be met with, because you're a cheap, entitled thief, and your ex's daughter just put you on blast in the most hilarious way possible. He was trapped by his own pathetic little crime. The humiliation was written all over his face. He and his girlfriend, their smug entrance now a distant memory, muttered a few awkward goodbyes and practically fled the party. The moment that door closed behind them, another round of applause and laughter broke out. The entire mood of the party had transformed. It was lighter, happier. It felt like a poison had been drawn out. My mom called me back, her voice still giddy. That was the best gift you could have ever given me, she said. That small, petty act of digital revenge did more than 1,000 conversations ever could have. It didn't erase the pain, but it took away his power. It turned our family trauma into a joke that we were all in on, with him on the outside looking in. It was a moment of profound collective healing. It validated my mom's pain, and, in a way, it validated our collective decision to stand by her. In the years since, the Netflix incident has become family legend. It's the story that gets retold at holidays, and it always gets the same result: a room full of laughter. My grandmother especially loves it. Whenever she sees me, she'll give me a little wink and say, "Still making sure everyone buys their own Netflix?" It's her way of saying she's proud, that she knows justice was served in the pettiest, funniest way possible. It taught me that revenge doesn't have to be some grand, destructive act. Sometimes, the best justice is small, clever, and deeply personal. It's about taking back the narrative and writing your own ending. We didn't need some big, dramatic confrontation. We just needed a kid's profile and a well-placed emoji to say everything that needed to be said. My mom is thriving now. She is surrounded by people who truly love and respect her, and her life is filled with genuine joy and laughter, not the counterfeit version Mark tried to sell her. As painful as it was, the whole experience revealed the true strength of our family and friends. We lost a toxic pretender, but we solidified the bonds that truly matter. And Mark? I have no idea what he's watching these days, but I can guarantee you he's paying for it himself. What do you think? Was this the perfect petty revenge? If you've ever gotten your own satisfying slice of karmic justice, I want to hear about it. Drop your story in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this one, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.